What's going on YouTube? Listen up, young elder gang. This is Charles P. Winston, back at you with another banger. Please make sure you like, subscribe and share this video, fam. I hope this video get at least 100,000 likes. In the following video, you will find history, definitions, scripture, information, and best of all, what we Americans have been deprived of from the beginning, the truth. Keep in mind, this content used in this video is intended for educational and informational purposes only. We will give you the total truth as we best understand it today. Be sure to hit that like button, young elder gang. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Hit that bell and don't forget to check back with us every day for new content. All right, let's get started. The ancient order of Hibernians, AOH Irish Ord Arsa na Nerianach, is an Irish Catholic fraternal organisation. Members must be male, Catholic, and either born in Ireland or of Irish descent. Its largest membership is in the United States, where it was founded in New York City in 1836. The name was adopted by groups of Irish immigrants in the United States. Its purpose to act as guards to shield Catholic churches from anti-Catholic forces in the mid-19th century, and to assist Irish Catholic immigrants, especially those who faced discrimination or harsh coal mining working conditions. Citation, needed many members in the coal mining area of Pennsylvania, allegedly had a background with the Molly Maguires. It became an important focus of Irish-American political activity. The organisation had its roots in the Defenders and the Ribbonmen, Catholic agrarian movements of the 18th and 19th centuries. 4. It emerged in Ulster at the end of the 19th century in opposition to the Orange Order. 5. It was organised by Joseph Devlin of Belfast, who was Grand Master by 1905.6. The AOH was closely associated with the Irish Parliamentary Party, its members mainly members of the party. 7. It was strongly opposed to secular ideologies, such as those of the Irish Republican Brotherhood, the IRB, who were most unhappy at the re-emergence of this old rival right-wing nationalist society. The Independent Order of Oddfellows, IOF, is a fraternal organisation that promotes social welfare, fellowship, and the care of the sick and poor. It's one of the world's oldest and largest fraternal orders. The Independent Order of Oddfellows is a fraternal organisation dedicated to fellowship among its members, social welfare, and the care of the sick and poor. The first Independent Order of Oddfellows lodges are mentioned in records dating back to 1748 in England. The North American Independent Order of Oddfellows was founded in Baltimore in 1819. The Oddfellows and Rebecca's Visual Research Foundation, formerly known as the Independent Order of Oddfellows World Eye Bank and Visual Research Foundation, also established the Oddfellows and Rebecca's Margaret L. Watts Professor's Research Fund to help support the laboratory activities of the Oddfellows Professor at the Wilmer Eye Institute. The IOF is a diverse organisation with members of all faiths, races, genders, occupations and abilities. The IOF does not discriminate against individuals based on disability, age, ethnicity, gender, race, sexual orientation, religion or other social identity. Knights of the Maccabees was a fraternal organisation formed in 1878 in London, Ontario, Canada. Most active in the US state of Michigan, the group's fraternal aspects took a back seat to providing low-cost insurance to members. In the Society's early years, it also provided other final expense-related benefits, such as Society cemeteries. The motto of the Knights of Maccabees was the Latin phrase Astra Castra Numen Lumen, which means the stars my camp, the deity my light. The Knights of the Maccabees was founded in London, Ontario, by members of the Order of the Foresters. They based their name, ceremonies and rituals on the Maccabees, a group of Jewish rebels against the Seleucid Empire, whose exploits are described in the books of the Maccabees, considered part of the biblical canon in Catholicism, but apocryphal in Judaism and Protestant Christianity. The first convention was held on August 7, 1878. The group grew rapidly in Canada and several US states, reaching 10,000 members by 1880. The organisation was not on an actuarially sound basis. No medical exams were required of new members, and assessments of death was 10 cents for each member. As death claims began piling up, the organization's expenses began to outweigh its income. A group of businessmen in Michigan, where the order had a number of members, endeavored to put the Maccabees on a sound financial basis. To this end, a grand review was held in Buffalo, New York in 1880 to reorganize the society, drawing up a new constitution and laws. Major Nathan Boynton was elected the new Supreme Lieutenant Commander. This created a brief schism with the Canadian group seceding under a man named McLaughlin. In 1881, a meeting of the two factions' representatives met at Port Huron, Michigan, and they agreed to reconcile their differences. A committee was appointed, chaired by Boynton, to draft a new constitution acceptable to both factions, and this was agreed to in February 1881. The Thule Society, Thule German, Thule Gesellschaft, originally the Studiengruppe für Germanisches Altertum, study group for Germanic antiquity, was a German occultist and folkish group founded in Munich shortly after World War I, named after a mythical northern country in Greek legend. The society is notable chiefly as the organization that sponsored the Deutsche Arbeiterpartei, DAP German Workers' Party, which was later reorganized by Adolf Hitler into the National Socialist German Workers' Party, NSDAP or Nazi Party. According to Hitler biographer Ian Kershaw, the organization's membership list reads like a who's who of early Nazi sympathizers and leading figures in Munich, including Rudolf Hess, Alfred Rosenberg, Hans Frank, Julius Lehmann, Gottfried Feder, Dietrich Eckart, and Karl Harrer. Author Nicholas Goodrick Clark contends that Hans Frank and Rudolf Hess had been Thule members, but other leading Nazis had only been invited to speak at Thule meetings, or they were entirely unconnected with it. According to Johannes Hering, there is no evidence that Hitler ever attended the Thule Society. The Thule Society was originally a German study group headed by Walter Neuhaus, a wounded World War I veteran turned art student from Berlin who had become a keeper of pedigrees for the Germanen Orden, or Order of Teutons, a secret society founded in 1911 and formally named in the following year. In 1917, Neuhaus moved to Munich. His Thule Society was to be a cover name for the Munich branch of the Germanen Orden, but events developed differently as a result of a schism in the order. In 1918, Neuhaus was contacted in Munich by Rudolf von Sebottendorf, or von Sebottendorf, an occultist and newly elected head of the Bavarian province of the schismatic offshoot known as the Germanen Orden Wohlwarte of the Holy Grail. The two men became associates in a recruitment campaign, and Sebottendorf adopted Neuhaus's Thule Society as a cover name for his Munich lodge of the Germanen Orden Wohlwarte at its formal dedication on the 18th of August, 1918. A primary focus of the Thule Society was a claim concerning the origins of the Aryan race. In 1917, people who wanted to join the Germanic Order, out of which the Thule Society developed in 1918, had to sign a special blood declaration of faith concerning their lineage. The Bohemian Grove is a restricted 700-acre, 1,100-hectare campground in Monte Rio, California. Founded in 1878, it belongs to a private gentlemen's club known as the Bohemian Club. In mid-July each year, the Bohemian Grove hosts a more than 2-week encampment of some of the most prominent men in the world. The tradition of a summer encampment was established 6 years after the Bohemian Club was formed in 1872. Henry Harry Edwards, a stage actor and founding member, announced that he was relocating to New York City to further his career. On June 29, 1878, somewhat fewer than 100 Bohemians gathered in the Redwoods in Marin County near Taylorville, present-day Samuel P. Taylor State Park, for an evening send-off party in Edwards' honor. Freely flowing liquor and some Japanese lanterns put a glow on the festivities, and club members retired at a late hour to the modest comfort of blankets laid on the dense mat of redwood needles. This festive gathering was repeated the next year without Edwards and became the club's yearly encampment. By 1882, the members of the club camped together at various locations in both Marin and Sonoma counties, including the present-day Muir Woods and a redwood grove that once stood near Duncan's Mills, several miles down the Russian River from the current location. From 1893, Bohemians rented the current location and in 1899 purchased it from Melvin Cyrus Meeker, who had developed a successful logging operation in the area. Gradually over the next decades, members of the club purchased land surrounding the original location, expanding it to the perimeter of the basin in which it resides. Writer and journalist William Henry Irwin said of the grove, "You come upon it suddenly. One step and its glory is over you. There is no perspective. You cannot get far enough away from one of the trees to see it as a whole. There they stand, a world of height above you, their pinnacles hidden by their topmost fringes of branches or lost in the sky." Not long after the club's establishment by newspaper journalists, it was commandeered by prominent San Francisco-based businessmen who provided the financial resources necessary to acquire further land and facilities at the Grove. However, they still retained the Bohemians, the artists and musicians who continued to entertain international members and guests. The Grove is particularly famous for a Manhattan project planning meeting that took place there in September 1942, which subsequently led to the atomic bomb. Those attending this meeting included Ernest Lawrence, J. Robert Oppenheimer, the S1 Executive Committee heads, such as the presidents of Harvard, Yale, and Princeton, along with representatives of Standard Oil and General Electric, as well as various military officials. At the time, Oppenheimer was not an S1 member, although Lawrence and Oppenheimer hosted the meeting. Grove members take particular pride in this event and often relate the story to new attendees. Former US President Herbert Hoover was inducted into the Old Guard on March 4, 1953. He had joined the club exactly 40 years prior, which is the requirement for the status. Redwood branches from the Grove were flown to the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in New York City, where they were used to decorate a banquet room for the celebration. In his acceptance speech, Hoover compared the honor of the Old Guard status to his frequent role as veteran counselor to later presidents.
The Knights of Columbus is a Catholic fraternal organization that provides charitable services, financial protection, and social fellowship. It's the largest Catholic lay organization in the world. The Knights of Columbus, KFC, is a global Catholic fraternal service order founded by Blessed Michael J. McGivney. Membership is limited to practicing Catholic men. It is led by Patrick E. Kelly, the order's 14th Supreme Knight. The organization was founded on March 29, 1882, as a mutual benefit society for working-class and immigrant Catholics in the United States. In addition to providing an insurance system for its members, it has grown to support refugee relief, Catholic education, local parishes and dioceses, and global Catholic social causes. The Knights of Columbus have played an active role in politics ever since its formation, and promote the Catholic view on public policy issues around the world. The organization also provides certain financial services to the individual and institutional Catholic market. Its wholly owned insurance company, a Fortune 1000 company based on its annual revenue, underwrites more than 2 million insurance contracts, totaling more than $121 billion of life insurance in force as of 2023. The order also owns the Knights of Columbus Asset Advisors, a money management firm which invests in accordance with Catholic social teachings. As of 2024, the Knights reported having over 2.1 million members around the world. Women may participate in KFC through the Columbiettes and other female auxiliaries, and boys may join the Columbian Squires. The order comprises 4 different degrees, each one of which exemplifies one of the core principles of the order. There are more than 17,000 local Knights of Columbus councils around the world, including over 400 on college campuses. The Knights of Pythias is a fraternal organization and secret society founded in Washington, D.C. on February 19, 1864. The Knights of Pythias is the first fraternal organization to receive a charter under an act of the United States Congress. The Knights of Pythias is a fraternal organization and secret society, one founded in Washington, D.C. on February 19, 1864. The Knights of Pythias is the first fraternal organization to receive a charter under an act of the United States Congress. Plaque in Washington, D.C. designating the location where the Knights of Pythias were founded in 1864. The order was founded by Justus H. Rathbone, who had been inspired by a play by the Irish poet John Bainham about the historic Greek legend of Damon and Pythias that illustrates the Pythagorean ideals of loyalty, honor and friendship that are the center of the order. Membership in the organization was originally restricted to whites only. African Americans formed their own organization, the Knights of Pythias of North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, and Australia. In 2003, the order had over 2,000 lodges in the United States and around the world, with a total membership of over 50,000. Some lodges meet in structures referred to as Pythian castles. The initials FCB are often inscribed on the order's swords, lapel pins, and crest. The initials stand for Friendship, Charity, Benevolence, which is the motto of the Knights of Pythias. Its logo features the letters FCB from its motto, with the colors blue, yellow, and red on an inverted triangle. Early in the group's history, when a man was inducted into the Knights of Pythias, he received a ceremonial sword. Such a sword might be given to a Pythian by family members, business associates, or others as a token of esteem. Markings on swords varied widely. Most swords were inscribed with the initials FCB, which stand for the Pythian motto. Images on swords were also somewhat common and included a man, woman, and child, symbolic of Damon saying goodbye to his family, a man looking out of a building with a group of people below, symbolic of Pythias's pending execution, a man, Samson, between some pillars pulling them down, or various types of weapons, swords, axes, hammers, etc. A full knight of the Pythian order often inscribed his sword with the image of a knight's helmet with a lion on the crest. Many also carried the image of a sprig of myrtle, the Pythian symbol of love, or a falcon, the Pythian symbol of vigilance. Swords owned by a member of the uniformed rank might be inscribed with the initials UR, a dove, or a lily. The Sovereign Military Order of Malta, SMOM, officially the Sovereign Military Hospitaller Order of St. John of Jerusalem, of Rhodes and of Malta, and commonly known as the Order of Malta or the Knights of Malta, is a Catholic lay religious order, traditionally of a military, chivalric, and noble nature. Though it possesses no territory, the order is often considered a sovereign entity under international law. The order claims continuity with the Knights Hospitaller, a chivalric order that was founded about 1099 by the Blessed Gerard in the Kingdom of Jerusalem. The order is led by an elected prince and grand master. Its motto is Tuitio Fidei et Obsequium Pauperum, defense of the faith and assistance to the poor. The order's membership includes about 13,500 knights, dames, and chaplains. 33 of these are professed religious knights of justice. Until the 1990s, the highest classes of membership, including officers, required proof of noble lineage. More recently, a path was created for knights and dames of the lowest class, of whom proof of aristocratic lineage is not required, to be specially elevated to the highest class, making them eligible for office in the order. The order's modern-day role is largely focused on providing humanitarian assistance and assisting with international humanitarian relations, for which purpose it has had permanent observer status at the United Nations General Assembly since 1994. The order employs about 52,000 doctors, nurses, auxiliaries, and paramedics, assisted by 95,000 volunteers in more than 120 countries, assisting children, homeless, disabled, elderly, and terminally ill people, refugees, and lepers around the world without distinction of ethnicity or religion. Through its worldwide relief corps, Malteser International, the order aids victims of natural disasters, epidemics, and war. The order maintains diplomatic relations with 113 states, enters into treaties, and issues its own passports, coins, and postage stamps. Its two headquarters buildings in Rome enjoy extraterritoriality, and it maintains embassies in other countries. The three principal officers are counted as citizens. Although the order has been a United Nations General Assembly observer since 1994, this was granted in view of its long-standing dedication in providing humanitarian assistance and its special role in international humanitarian relations. The same category is held by other non-state entities such as the International Olympic Committee and International Committee of the Red Cross. The Knights of the Golden Circle, KGC, was a secret society of pro-slavery Southerners who plotted to create a slave empire in the 1850s and 1860s. The Knights of the Golden Circle was a mysterious southern-based society that set out in 1859 to establish a slave empire in Mexico. In late 1860, it shifted its focus to supporting the secession movement and intimidating Unionists in the South. The Knights of the Golden Circle, KGC, was a secret society founded in 1854 by American George W. L. Bickley, the objective of which was to create a new country known as the Golden Circle, Spanish Círculo Dorado, where slavery would be legal. The country would have been centered in Havana. It would have consisted of the southern United States and a golden circle of territories in Mexico, which was to be divided into 25 new slave states, Central America, northern parts of South America, and Cuba, Haiti, Dominican Republic, and most other islands in the Caribbean, about 2,400 miles, 3,900 kilometers, in diameter. The KGC's proposal grew out of previously unsuccessful proposals to annex Cuba, Ostend Manifesto, parts of Central America, Filibuster War, and all of Mexico movement. In Cuba, the issue was complicated by the desire of many in the colony for independence from Spain. Mexico and Central America had no interest in being part of the United States. Initially, the KGC advocated that the United States should annex the new territories to increase the number of slavery states vastly and thus the power of slaveholders. In response to the increased anti-slavery agitation that followed the Dred Scott Decision, 1857, the Knights changed their position. The southern United States should secede, forming their own confederation, and then invade and annex the other areas of the Golden Circle. The proposed new country's northern border would roughly coincide with the Mason-Dixon line, and within it were included such cities as Washington, D.C., St. Louis, Mexico City, and Panama City. In either case, the goal was to increase enslavers' political and economic power irreversibly. During the American Civil War, Southern sympathizers in the United States, especially that northern United States, such as in Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, Minnesota, and Iowa, were organized to a radical paramilitary splinter group of KGC, which was renamed, in a deliberate reference to the American Revolution, the Order of the Sons of Liberty. In some cases, such as that of Lambton P. Milligan, Sons of Liberty members were imprisoned, deported, or even court-martialed and hanged for their activities. Among the many acts of guerrilla warfare attributed to the Sons of Liberty were the burning of the Walnut Ridge Friends Meeting House in Rush County, Indiana in 1864, and the Northwest Conspiracy, which plotted regime change uprisings aimed at forcibly bringing Iowa, Ohio, Illinois, and Indiana into the Confederacy. Although nominally secret societies, the existence of the Knights of the Golden Circle and the Order of the Sons of Liberty were never considered a secret.